to the Outtakes Movie Podcast. I'm Sam, and we're still going on a quest to go through every single movie ever made and objectively rank them best to worst of all time. I'm joined, as always, by my amazing team. Amelia, live from set. How are you doing?
Hello, great.
What's Ryan Gosling like? Can you go ask him for me? How's he doing?
He scares me, I'm not gonna lie.
He scares you. Yeah.
He's just, they don't move. They've stood like that for about, I think 2 days.
Dedication.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But
Really
I will say, I copped a feel of his bum while he was stood there. It was good.
They're like beef eaters. They can't react to you. That's the deal.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
I think he enjoyed it personally.
Joe, what's going on, man?
Do you want to
I want to remind you that this is also an
thanks.
audio thing. Why you
Oh,
nodded
yeah?
silently?
Okay. Nod. Pretty good.
And Jacob, what's going on, man?
I'm alright. I'm pretty good.
Excellent. So, plugs. We do plugs. That's the YouTube thing. You gotta get that stuff in. If you like what we do here at the Outtakes, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let us know what you think of what we do in the comments down below. Make sure to follow us all over on social media by searching for The Real Outtakes on Twitter and Instagram, and listen to us on all your favorite podcasting apps. So this week we are going to not that far back in time, 2016. Simultaneously feels like 2 decades ago and yesterday, and we're going to take a look at not Best Picture, almost Best Picture, somehow, La La Land. But first, let's take this musical movie through a musical journey back to its pop culture roots, where its release window, and it's December, and unlike last week's Edward Scissorhands, which didn't have any interest in Christmas, chocker full of it now. It's I do feel like we do start to hear Christmas songs like October-ish coming in. I feel like a lot of the chart's probably just made up by like in-store plays, you know? Mm-hmm. TK Maxx making up.
It so much earlier, don't they? Like, you're hearing bloody Christmas songs and like, I heard, where was I? I was in like Tesco or something, and I swear to God, I heard them in like October. No, hold on, that's a lie now, because I heard Halloween music in October. I heard it on the 1st of November.
I was going to say, they don't tend to have Halloween anymore, TK Maxx. They have Halloween in September, and then halfway through October, like, yeah, fuck Halloween, that never happened. Crimbo.
Yeah. I remember one time I was in Tesco's around Christmas, and they were playing the odd Christmas song, and one of the songs that was on the playlist was Do You Want to Build a Snowman, right? Which, on the surface of it, I get, Frozen was a big movie, it's about snowmen, but they play, like, they even include the bit where the parents die. You know, where it gets really somber and all the singing stuff.
Yeah, I was just thinking, whenever you listen to that whole song, you have the nice cheery intro, and then a bit later on it goes like sad, and like there's a big like orchestral bit as you see like their ship getting shipwrecked or whatever.
I was listening to that while buying some watermelons. Yeah, that's standard. So yeah, it was everything you expect. You know, just creeping in at number 39 is the Boobster. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Later on down the line, Last Christmas, Wham. Last Christmas, I think it's like, I think that's probably my favorite Christmas song.
I love Wham.
So good.
Song.
Yeah, I would agree. Have you guys seen Last Christmas the movie?
I've not, but I've been
No.
I've been simultaneously recommended and not recommended it. Like,
yeah, it looks a bit cringe, but it's Emilia Clarke, so I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, if it's on at Christmas, which it probably will be on something, watch it. It's just it's fun, it's fine, and the ending might surprise you.
Ooh. Amelia's head just explodes.
It's a war film.
I think she becomes the mother
It's
dragon.
not a war film.
No, I'm not. It isn't. But then at the end, like, it turns into a war film. World War III kicked off, and last Christmas it wasn't World War III, and this Christmas it is. That's the premise of the film, maybe. I don't know. I've not seen it, so that's the impression I got from the trailer.
That's not what happens.
I'd like to see a movie with like an ending. So you know how like traditional movies would put the word "fin" or the end at the end of the movies, you know, to be classy. Yeah. I'd like to see a movie with such an odd ending that it literally just said the word "surprise" and then the credits roll. So yeah, what else we got? Fairy Tale in New York and the tippity top Christmas song, of course. It's Jacob's mum. All I Want for Christmas.
Right. The last name in the first, it's same pronunciation.
You were the one that brought up the comparison, okay?
Well, how many, other than Mariah Carey and Carey Mulligan?
Jim Carrey.
That many.
For Christmas, there is just one thing I need.
See, I'm more of like a Frank Sinatra 1940s Christmas me.
For my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you.
What a tune.
Hopping over to the world of the main pop charts, the non-Christmassy pop charts, was again odd. I thought I'd remember more from 2016. But you had Ariana coming in at Side to Side. That's an alright song. So Good, Louisa Johnson, number 18. That's pretty good. Human Rag and Bone Man. That's pretty good. Number 8. Shout Out to My Ex, which I think is great. Great little fun little mix song. The thing that I find funny is number 11, Closer by the Chainsmokers, because that's when they were trying to take themselves seriously and distance themselves from the selfie situation they put themselves in.
It's mad how their band name or group name was Chainsmokers, right?
Yeah.
But they try and come up with this, look at how cool it is to take selfies, but also chain smoke however many a day. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's not a very good public health safety announcement, is it? I don't know.
And then hopping over to the world of video games, hoping for lots of cool stuff leading up to Christmas 2016. You may have been excited about lots, but frankly, the only one game came out this day. It was probably free. It's on the iOS and Android Google Play stores, and it's called. It doesn't even. I actually struggle to read it. It's not a Starly Girls episode. Waifus in space. That's what it is, basically. So
nice.
So if you've got waifu needs, there you are on the App Store. Starly Girls. I'm sure it's great
Does it look
fun.
like that?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, come on.
I assume you collect them like Pokemon.
Oh god.
Yeah, they're like admirals in space. Oh my god. I don't know what's going on there, but like my gal needs to put on some trousers.
Ooh.
Goody Q.
Is that standard space uniform? The panties out? Must be.
I reckon so.
George Lucas,
No,
didn't he?
God
Made
eventually.
that case to Carrie Fisher.
Yeah,
they don't wear underwear in
pants.
space.
I wish I'd never found that out.
What a creep. What a creep. Anyway, in hopefully less creepy movies to produce, La La Land came out in 2016.
Yeah.
Jacob, tell us all about that.
Yeah, so while it was December in USA in general release, it premiered in Venice. There was probably a film festival or something, I didn't look it up, but that was like way back in August. And this film feels like quite a summery film, even though it's set in like different like seasons of the year. Go on, Joe. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, if it was Venice, isn't the Venice Film Festival like the biggest festival of all of them?
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain
film
that's
festival
like
happens in
one
Venice?
Isn't it like
Probably
isn't
Venice
Venice
Film
like
Festival.
the biggest one, like out of all of them in the entire world?
It's got to be that or Cannes, right?
Yeah, it's either Venice, and then I'm pretty sure it's followed by either Cannes and then maybe Sundance.
Oh shit, I'd forgotten all about
Where's
Sundance.
Yeah,
Is that
Sundance. Yeah, it's near Salt Lake City, I think. I can't remember what state that's in. It's in the middle, near the top. It's really snowy and cold.
Isn't it Salt Lake City, Utah? Well,
I think so.
Oh
Sounds
yeah,
right.
maybe then. Yeah, maybe Utah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, whenever they have it, it's really snowy and cold, and everyone goes skiing and stuff at the same time. Whereas Kansas is the opposite; it's really hot. And then Venice is just Venice. So
That's
I
where
assume
Mr.
it's
Bean's
hot
holiday was set.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
What a movie.
What a movie. Very orange, that film, from what I remember.
His found footage film won best film or something.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Director and writer. Well, the writer was more than one person, but the director also did some writing. A guy called Damien Chazelle.
Probably Giselle.
I think it's Giselle. Like, isn't that the name of Shakira's character in Zootopia?
It's like Giselle.
Or is it Giselle, like because she's a gazelle?
Gazelle.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay. God, Zootopia.
Similar but different. Yeah, Damien Giselle. Wait, I said it wrong again. Never mind. He is a drummer, so he's sick on the drums and stuff. So, if you think of what other stuff has he done, probably the one drumming film you can think of, Whiplash.
Hop.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hop.
yeah. Hop. Oh, boy, I forgot about that one.
What, the thing about the rabbit?
You went on such a journey then, Amelia.
Because, like, I remembered it, and then I actually remembered the horrifying animation, and, like...
Is that the thing with the rabbit and fucking, what's his name?
It's
the
like
guy who's also in Sonic.
James Marsden.
Yeah.
Is that about fucking drums?
Yeah, he plays that Easter Bunny as a drummer. Yeah.
That's true.
I've never seen it, so...
I don't think you're missing out on much.
Yeah, no, I didn't think I was missing out at the time either. If I'm honest.
But this drumming movie, Whiplash, was made before La La Land, even though La La Land was written first. Main reason for that, Whiplash was just way more appealing to studios. It wasn't as whimsical, I'm going to go with. But thankfully, because they made Whiplash, and because Whiplash was so successful, it got 5 Oscar nominations and made $50 million at the box office off a $3.3 million budget. So it was pretty damn successful.
Yeah.
You say Whiplash was more appealing to the studio. It still took him years to get it made though.
Yeah, it still took him a while.
I feel
still
like
weren't interested in making it.
I feel like the whole industry's kind of been in this. For our lifetimes, we've seen a fair few musicals come around, and obviously Disney always get away with it. But I think there's still a large chunk of the industry that doesn't feel like you can bank on a musical. I think maybe now, because of things like La La Land and Les Mis, whatever you think of like each one's quality, made a lot of money and got a lot of eyes on it. And I think even the travesty of Cats isn't going to turn the industry away from musicals. You know, I feel like that's a very isolated, unique situation with Cats.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't because it was a fucking musical, I don't think. It was probably... Actually, you know what? I don't know. Is it because it's a musical? I've not seen it.
So. CGI was the main thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the CGI is awfully scary.
Cats is sort of a cluster build-up of badness. So the musical Cats, it does have a passionate fan base. I'm not going to go out here and say no one likes Cats. But even within musical theatre circles, Cats struggles to really find a large audience. Most people who see it are confused by it or bored by it. So the origin is kind of bad, and it's experimental. Like the thing people remember most about Cats is they get the cast to come out and crawl all over the audience. That's what people talk about with Cats. That's the experience of seeing Cats. It is weird, but Lloyd Webber has this idea that theatre... I think he's a big fan of interactive theatre. So the obvious example of the one that works is in Phantom. They drop a chandelier over the audience. It's really cool, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's wanting to continue to implement things like that into his other productions, but the Cats one is weird. So you remove the interaction out, which is the one bit that people really like, other than the song Memory, and you overlay it with just the worst... Okay. I have heard testimonies from people who worked on Cats, the VFX department specifically, that say they hate it just as much as the rest of the people do. Because Cats was a production nightmare, where Tom Hooper was making changes very much up to and past the 11th hour. And they did not have the time to do what they really needed to do with it, you know?
Have you guys heard the actual, like, the album as well, like the soundtrack? Because, like, we put it on the other day, and, like, they've tried to modernize the songs, make them poppy and make them, like, I don't know, and, like, it's a very chaotic soundtrack to begin with. Like, it's not exactly something you can just, like, personally, I don't just put it on to just enjoy it, because I think, like, say, it's about being there, it's about seeing these cats and seeing how weird they are. And, like, the whole idea of modernizing it and making it more of, like, this pop fest, I don't think that's what worked. And like I say, the whole point that kind of makes Cats stand out is that these people are in these fantastical outfits that make them look like cats. So turning them into these CG nightmares just doesn't... It's like making the Phantom's face completely CGI, it wouldn't work. It's got to be a practical effect. That's the point of theatre. It's physical. So by making these cats all CGI, instantly you kind of get that, like, what's it? That term where, like, you don't know if something's quite good. Uncanny valley.
Uncanny, yeah.
Like, well, you're looking at it and you're like, that's Judi Dench, but she's got a tail and she's not actually wearing clothes and she's furry. I don't get it.
And her face is hovering slightly in front of her head.
You guys remember the documentary?
Human hands in some shots as well.
What, sorry?
Have you seen that in, like, the early versions of the one that was released? She had, there was a couple of scenes where they hadn't CGI'd her hands and she had human hands.
Human hands. That's in the Blu-ray in occasion as well. They still haven't got around to fixing it,
Amazing.
Yeah, I feel like that they should make a documentary. Remember when they made that one about Fire Festival and how they conned all these people to go in? They should make one about how they conned all these big actors and, like, just being in this fucking atrocious film. Because I had Judi Dench, Idris Elba,
Ian McKellen
was in it,
Taylor Swift,
loads
Jason
of big
Derulo
names.
was in it.
Yeah,
Jason Derulo, James Corden,
Well, do you
Rebel
remember
Wilson.
how there was a controversy, wasn't there? Because the main cat, I can't think of the one that's the white cat. I can't remember what her name is, but it's a white cat, and everyone was saying that they got a black actress to play a white cat, and there was that whole controversy and all this, like, nonsense. It's just like,
well, do you know what's extra weird about that? Do you know what's extra weird about that? Is I think the reason that stands out is because they made Idris Elba's cat, McCavity, brown. They matched his fur color to his skin color, but brown cats don't. That's not a thing. There isn't brown cats.
That out. Yeah, you don't get
it's a very unnatural. It's a very unnatural color for a cat to be. So I don't know what's worse. Is it's whitewashing the black actress or blacking up the cat? I honestly don't know what's worse.
Someone needs to make a fucking documentary about that.
I'd watch that. I think that'd be fun.
I would watch the shit
I would
out of
watch
that.
it. Yep.
Imagine it. You've fucked up when a documentary about your film is more successful than your film.
Oof.
That's funny.
But
see, it's weird, isn't it? Because, like, certain things, right? Certain productions on films are so mad that they just deserve that story to be told separately.
Yes.
But then I feel like there's certain things that work better as an actual film, and then others that work better as a documentary. So, for example, that would work so much better as a documentary. But have you ever heard about the whole thing when they were making Apocalypse Now? And it was like
Army of Darkness, isn't it?
Oh, did they actually make something?
Yeah, there's a documentary. It's called Army of Darkness.
Oh, I knew there was documentaries and stuff.
Wait, no, not Army of Darkness. Heart of Darkness. Army of Darkness is the Bruce Campbell movie.
Yeah, it is, yeah. No, like, I know that I knew they made documentaries and stuff about it, but like that, the story behind them making that film is so fucking mad that I think it does actually deserve its own film as well.
Film adaptation of the documentary.
Yeah.
See, I'm just thinking of The Room. You know, they did that.
Well, yeah, that's my go-to.
Exactly, something like that. Like, that was such a weird...
Disaster Artist.
Disaster Artist. That's what I mean. That was such a mad story and such a weird story that it worked well as a film. And then if it was a documentary, it would have been good. But because it was so...
It was funnier
weird,
as a film.
Yeah, it worked well as a film. And I feel like Apocalypse Now's production was so intense and so mad that deserves a film as well. Because it almost killed the director, you know what I mean? It gave the lead actor a heart attack. Like, fucking hell.
Damn.
I need to do some research on it. I don't know anything about it.
Oh no, it's insane.
Cover it on the podcast.
Madness.
That's what
There you go.
Heck yeah.
Sort it out.
Oh man, there we go. I don't want to do the film though. It's 3 hours long. Can someone not pick Apocalypse Now? I don't want to talk about it. It's 3 hours long.
Talking about films.
Nice.
That aren't 3 hours long.
La La Land, right? So Whiplash was pretty successful. So La La Land got greenlit. It was going to happen. The first studio that tried to make it happen weren't exactly happy with the original script, so they wanted to change a few things. I'll mention those as we go through it, but they only offered it a budget of $1 million. The director said no, don't want to make these changes. So in the end, the eventual studio gave it a budget of $30 million, and off that, worldwide, it made $446.1 million.
Ouch.
That's insane.
Which is
Ouch, what am I about? That's a lot of money.
It's a fucking mint, that, yeah.
So
That's
much.
So much.
So this is done fucking well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the other writer of this, guy called Justin Hurwitz, or Witz, I think it's Hurwitz. He was Giselle's, like, uni mate. They went to Harvard together. He was the composer for all the songs as well. All the songs except the one that John Legend does, because John Legend does it instead.
I forgot that he was in there. And I didn't recognise him until Beth pointed out that it was him.
It's his voice. Like, I didn't recognise him, and then he started singing, and I was like, that's John Legend.
Well, that's right, I didn't recognise him, and then he started singing, and I was like, oh man, he's got a good voice. And he's like, yeah, that's because it's John Legend. I was like, alright, well, okay, fine. He can act.
Yeah, alongside him, it's not a massive cast, but we also have Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. J.K. Simmons is in it for a little bit as well, but not a massive role. Yeah, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, they've been in lots. I feel like Emma Stone's been in more than Ryan Gosling, though. I don't know the exact numbers.
They were in that film together as well, weren't they?
They've done...
No. Crazy Stupid Love. I love that film.
And they were in Gangster Squad together.
Oh god, yeah, they were.
And I'm sure there was a third one.
They were. I genuinely thought they were together. Like, they have such a good relationship on screen for everything they do.
They've got great chemistry.
But they're not.
I'm sure they were in something else together.
I'm sure they must have been. But yeah, Ryan Gosling's character, Seb, very nearly played by Miles Teller instead. I like him in Whiplash. I think he's alright. I always get, for some reason, Whiplash and Creed confused. And I don't know why.
Very different.
They're both
films.
in Fantastic Four.
That might be
They
it.
are.
There we go. Fant Four Stick. Oh boy. But yeah, I'm glad we had Ryan Gosling instead. Yeah. Fuck off, Miles Teller. Unless you're watching this episode, in which case, please hang around. We'd love your support and appreciate it.
Fuck off, Miles Teller.
Oh no! I just brought him back as well. I've just done apologising and well. Emma Stone's character Mia was almost played by Emma Watson. Again, I think Emma Stone was the right choice.
Yeah, that would have been a weird mix. I think Emma Watson and Miles Teller.
Weren't they? They were in Perks of Wildflower together, weren't they?
Oh, were they? I don't know.
Was there any connection? Oh, maybe that isn't that Miles Teller. Maybe it's.
He might have been in that. I don't.
What was it called?
No, I think that's someone else. Perks of being a wallflower.
To be honest with you, I don't think Emma Watson's a very good actress. Like,
she's a bit stiff.
Not Miles Teller.
Like, I think people accepted her as Hermione, but that's because she grew up into that role. She learned to act as that role, and then suddenly she's got to do all these other roles. And I fail to buy it. People joke about the lack of charisma she has against the CGI monster in Beauty and the Beast, which is true. It's appalling, but I don't think she's got much charisma
to begin with.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'll say it.
Yeah. Emma Stone certainly is a lot more charming and endearing, and I think a much stronger actor. Emma Stone, is this mean? Emma Stone put more effort into the fake auditions in this movie than I've ever seen Emma Watson do in any other films. She's a great ambassador for feminism and her other works, and what she says and the foundation she sets up are really important. I do not think she's a very good actress though.
Fair enough.
I mean, Emma Stone, she's really... we were saying it when we were watching it. She's very... You can tell what she's thinking through, the way she, acts and the face expression she does, which is really weird, because Ryan Gosling is so hard to read, it is ridiculous. No matter what role he's playing, he's a good actor, but Christ, he sits there with his face. And unless you don't know if he's happy, even if the man's smiling, you still can't tell if he's actually happy or not. He could be smiling, but boiling inside. And he's just got, I don't know, certain roles it works really well. Like in Drive, that's the type of character
you can almost hear when another character is.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's strange.
What are you saying, mate? What are you saying?
Oh my god! I don't like that. I don't get what's going on. I'm actually having a nightmare. What the fuck? Was it a picture? Oh, thank God for that. I thought you just turned yourself into Ryan Gosling on the thing. There's something weirdly terrifying about that.
Oh my God.
I'm here to do the podcast. What's up, guys?
What the
Right,
fuck?
Ryan Gosling, you suddenly sound a lot like Amelia. You've become British.
I don't know what you're on
incredible.
about. What does it look like? Yeah.
His acting skills are amazing.
Wow.
All these voices.
I don't know what Ryan Gosling sounds like.
Does anyone?
Not
He
that.
hardly speaks.
Will that work?
Ryan,
Oh.
so I feel like you
more
can
like bloody Ryan
almost
Reynolds.
you can almost hear like when another character is talking to Ryan Gosling in a movie, I feel like you can hear the white noise that's going on in his head, you know?
Just the modem sound.
Oh, we need to
Let's
edit
have
of
buff
that,
Ryan
surely.
Gosling. We'll buff. Yay!
Oh.
What's that from?
Nice.
There you go. He's
See, I
gonna
don't
stay
think
here.
Ryan Gosling and think like buff. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's like fat or anything, but I don't think him of being muscular. No, like you think of like Chris Evans and all them, and you think like, oh,
Say
you
it
know,
to my
muscles
face.
or whatever.
Say it to
But
my face.
he doesn't give that kind of vibe. He gives
I
kind
know
of
what you
like a don't know, detective 1940s detective vibe.
Yeah, that's probably why he was in Gangster Squad.
Well, yeah, like a kind of like 50s actors.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like what's that guy called? Isn't it the Maltese Falcon and shit? The one who's in like Casablanca. Is it
Fuck.
Ingrid Bergman? Is that his name? What was his name? Was that a girl? Because that sounded like a girl's name.
It's totally out of my head.
I got nothing.
Humphrey Bogart. That's it. He gives me a Humphrey Bogart kind of vibe.
Fair.
Kind of like 1940s, like brooding, like
That
I'm
works
too
quite
old
well
for
in
this
this,
shit.
I suppose, then,
you
because
know.
this is supposed to be not quite a period piece, but it's supposed to be a lot like those old classic
Well, yeah,
cinema films.
that's what I mean. He's very well cast here, I think,
Yeah,
because
I
like he's, I don't know, he gives that vibe. Like when the plane, actually, no, I'll say when we get to that bit in the film.
we'll
but-
get there. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting, fun little thing about Emma Watson and Ryan Gosling. They turned down the roles of Beauty and the Beast and La La Land to be in the other one. So Emma Watson turned down La La Land to be in Beauty and the Beast. Ryan Gosling turned down Beauty and the Beast to be in La La Land. Interesting.
I
little
think,
thing.
yeah, I'm glad Ryan Gosling didn't do Beauty and the Beast because I just think Dan Stevens was a little
Weird.
better. I don't think Ryan Gosling would have made a good Beast at all.
Fair enough.
Especially one that like negs Bell, you know? It's
What
very
does next mean? I was like, don't know what that means.
negging. It's like I don't want to use the word like flirt because it's shit. It's like it's I think it's got its origins within like the pickup community. To neg someone, usually the opposite sex, is to put them down in a way where it's like you're showing enough interest in something they like, but you're putting them down so you still have the power.
Oh yeah,
It's a
usually
really
the person
shit-
doing the negging is insecure in their ability to attract someone without
Right.
putting them down.
Yes, the example that frequently gets used is when Beast asks her what her favorite book is, and she says Romeo and Juliet, and he goes, and then he takes her to his massive library, and he's like, "Look at all my books, Romeo and Juliet, get out of here!" Like,
Well, I've learnt a new word. Carry on.
And as well as being just, well, clearly based on the budget and box office numbers, pretty popular, this film is never going to be forgotten for not winning Best Picture at the Oscars. Moonlight won it instead. But, I mean, La La Land did pretty well at the Academy Awards. Won 6 out of 14 at the Oscars, 7 out of 7 at the Golden Globes, and 5 out of 11 at the BAFTAs. Which is pretty
hell.
good going. Overall, out of all of its 287 nominations, it won 237 awards,
What?
which is not too shabby at all.
No, pretty good.
Yeah, but let's get on to the actual film itself. So we open on a bridge in winter, although it doesn't look like winter, but I guess LA is always summer. Shitload of cars all on the bridge, piled up, because it's LA. Classic. Apparently, found out that one of the director of this film is hiding under one of those cars, shouting out director stuff under a car so as not to be seen.
That's amazing.
Because it was on location. It was on a bridge. Like, he was hidden away, barking orders. Well, barking direction, I guess.
Why
I feel like he was bullied into that. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have to do it.
Hey, go on, Damien. Go on, just get under that car. Go on,
mate. Go on.
What, lost odds on and had to hide under the car for the whole thing?
If you're a
That's why
big
there's
fan
so
of
many cars in this movie. He's always like clinging on to the underside of them.
clinging onto the undercarriage.
He's like dangling off the back like in Cape Fear or something, got like a belt around us, like, okay, action, fuck!
If you're a big fan of bridges and you know your bridges, this is the same bridges from Speed. So there you go, same one as Speed, that one with the bus. Yeah, this bridge. The whole thing isn't going to be about bridges. I'm just saying.
This bridge is bridge.
Welcome to the Outtakes Bridges podcast.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any trees in this one, so we're going to have to start off with bridge.
No big trees in this one.
No, I don't feel good giving bridges a Hall of Fame. You know, they're not that important. Trees are important.
Trees, yeah, but bridges
the Golden Gate
help
Bridge,
you cross
right?
things.
X-Men 3, Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, that's a very important part of that film.
Yeah, but that's not a very important movie.
Golden Gate Bridge. That's a very important. No, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Golden Gate Bridge also. Mm-hmm.
Basically, any film where you want them to know it's in San Francisco without having San Francisco at the bottom. Golden Gate Bridge.
Exactly. Vertigo.
I was about to say Vertigo. Come on.
Ah, fucking hell. Fine, the Golden Gate Bridge goes into the Bridge Hall of Fame.
We did it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an example of when they used real life locations, and they did that a lot throughout this film. Is it cheaper? I'm asking you guys because I honestly don't know. Is it cheaper to shoot on location and like rent it out, stop traffic, pay all the whatever you have to pay for it, or just do it on a soundstage, doing green screen in the background and stuff?
I think it depends on the location. I think that's a question where the answer is very much in flux. It depends on the location, and it depends what you want to do with the location, you know?
If you want to like blow up the Empire State or something,
exactly,
you can't do that in person.
You've got to think about it, where if you were going to do an on-set location and you wanted to use New York, yet people come and use Manchester, that's technically cheaper.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Well,
they use different locations.
They use, for like, turn of the century New York, they use Liverpool quite a lot.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Because they were built... the two of them were kind of... A lot of the buildings were built around the same time, so they use a lot of the same architecture, especially...
Peaky Blinders is filmed in Liverpool, not Harvey and Birmingham.
You know that in the first Captain America, there's the scene where he's chasing like the cars and stuff, like pretty early on. Yeah, that's all filmed in Liverpool, like by the docks. And
It's the bit on the dock where the guy when he jumps in the water and he bites the cyanide pill. That's all over Liverpool because I've been there.
Sweet.
Multiple times.
Fair enough then.
Same with all the places from Peaky Blinders.
But yeah, I suppose
Batman's currently filming in Liverpool, but not really because there's a pandemic going on. But there was gonna be filming in Liverpool. They used the town hall loads in Liverpool also. Because that's also in Sherlock Holmes.
Have you guys got any like famous locations, like specific ones from where you're from that they film in, or became like this is where they filmed this thing?
Not my town, but I mean Liverpool's 20 minutes
Liverpool
down
in
the road.
general,
So
yeah.
Mine's kind of shit.
What's yours?
Mine's not even. Basically, the town, so the little village I used to live in, they filmed part of the BBC show Doctors there. That's it.
Wow.
Nice.
Which is kind of cool, but kind of wank at the same time.
I once saw some sort of production happening in Blackburn, which is near where I live, but I never found out what it was.
Ooh.
But I could tell you I could point to the spot in Blackburn, but I could not tell you what production it was. So something nebulously was filmed there.
Yeah, I mean
the one that I like. I mean, even though it's Nottingham, very little Robin Hood filming goes on.
That's insane.
Which is mad. But I guess it's modern day Nottingham. It's not old day. Like there's very few old landmarks. There's a pub that's fucking ancient, but they're not gonna just film outside a pub just to so it's in a film.
Ye olde pub.
Here it is. The best one is there's a place called Woolerton, not very far from Nottingham, and Woolerton Hall, this big old mansion, was Wayne Manor in Dark Knight Rises.
Nice.
Sweet. So even though it wasn't there for very long,
there's
a massive like Batman exhibition at it.
I've just fucking remembered. I used to live near Stonyhurst College, more or less. That's fucking Hogwarts.
Ooh,
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
that's pretty neat. Not too shabby. But yeah, I feel like they used real life locations in this to make it feel more authentic rather than
I feel like
to
it's
save
LA
money or
was a
anything.
lot easier to get real life locations.
Everyone's making movies in LA. That's the point of
Yeah.
LA. It's not, but you know what I mean. Bizarrely
It was
though,
originally.
it was originally going to be set in Boston,
Weird.
What?
which is absolutely bizarre. That I
I'm
don't.
walking here.
Hey,
New York.
I mean, well,
It's near it.
Boston.
if you wanted to make a movie if you wanted to make a movie musical about musicals, you would set it in New York because you'd want to include Broadway.
New York.
Yeah.
But you couldn't make a movie musical about movies in Boston because
No.
wrong
Yeah.
state.
yeah, it doesn't work very well. I feel like LA was the obvious choice, but
Yeah.
oh well. Anyway, straight away they start singing. The song is called "Another Day of Sun." Pretty good opening number, although again, it's winter, but it's always sunny, I guess. It's weird though, because most musicals when they open, they have an ensemble of all the characters that are going to be in it sing the main first song. None of the main characters in this, even though there's only like two, are in this song at all. Like the song finishes and then we see our main characters. So I suppose it's just like a comparison between a musical and like a movie musical. Just
It's a weird one. I struggle to like deconstruct this because like it feels very out of place.
it's a bit
with the rest of the movie. Like I can totally get on board with like musicals starting like this. It happens all the time, you know. Examples that spring into mind are things like Mamma Mia, Nightmare Before Christmas starts like this. Like you say, it usually involves at least the main cast or like the extras. And this doesn't. And the song's lyrics don't really have a bearing on the plot or the characters or the themes.
yeah.
Neither does the choreography. It kind of feels like it's setting up, this is a musical, this is what you expect from musicals, right? And I'm like, yes.
Pretty much.
And then I'm like, but, and the movie goes, no buts, just carry on. You know?
I think the main reason it sets up it puts you in the mindset of old classic dancing on top of cars thing. It doesn't. You're right. It doesn't hold a lot of other like grip on or grasp.
It's quite
the rest
fun.
Of the plot. It's quite a fun one. It's very colourful. Yeah. One thing I don't get. There was a band in the back of that van. That seems really hard just to like logistically. Even if they're all standing in
back
there,
of the van.
the guy on that flute, if he turns ever so slightly, he's gonna be twatting someone on the back of the head with a flute. But yeah, well done for them for doing that. Yeah, this was one of the things that they wanted to change. That other studio, they wanted to edit it. We immediately meet Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone after it finishes, though, and she heads off to work. She's going to work. She works in a coffee shop on the Warner Brothers lot in LA. But she's got an audition, has to leave early, goes to it in a big blue coat because she's got coffee all on her shirt. I got this fact, like whenever I was researching this, that came up loads about how this scene was based on the director's real life experiences. And I thought, well, not making it in LA, loads of people can relate to that. So it's not that unique of a thing, but it's a thing all the same. There's loads of little interesting details that they throw in as well. So all the other people auditioning, I guess that often when they put out a call for people to be in a film, they ask for a specific character, whether like Ginger or Build or whatever. But they're all wearing the same thing as well, which works quite nicely into the next song, which is Someone in the Crowd. So you can take it as they're looking for the one in like romantic style, or they're trying to pick out that perfect person to play that role. And it just kind of emphasizes how she's one in like a million. Why should they pick her? She looks exactly the same as everyone else. But that party that she goes to, one of the girls who she goes with, the one, I should have written down her name, but I forgot to do that. But she's wearing green. She's in the green dress, and she goes with. Haven't you guys seen Happy Death Day? Because she's in that.
No.
I've not, but Beth did point out that was her when we were watching it.
Yeah, it was
From
weird. Like to go from Happy Death Day to this, it's
Was Happy Death Day the one with the like killer baby?
the Groundhog Day one.
but like
someone in, like,
Yeah,
a
she
big
keeps
mask.
dying over and over
Yeah, she keeps
again.
getting
Yeah.
didn't they make a
Yeah.
sequel to it as well?
They did make a sequel.
They spoiled the end of the first one in the sequel. I'd not seen the first one, and I watched the trailer for the second one, and it was like, oh my god, my roommate was the one who did it. Oh shit, I mean, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, the roommate was who did it, but I just watched the trailer for the second one, and I was like, oh man, spoilers, you're right, I haven't seen the first one. Oh, I'm interested, really annoyed that I spoiled it.
Fuck you, Joe. I'm out of
Sorry.
here.
So, oh man, I want to watch that tonight.
This party is very not classy because there's a guy doing a backflip off a building into a pool. Not classy, except
That's an LA
very
party for you?
Modern class themes,
That's
what they like.
maybe.
It's Gatsby-esque.
Gatsby-esque
I
party, yeah.
guess.
Dubstep Gatsby.
I suppose
Ouch.
a little bit modern Gatsby.
Yeah.
We'll go with that because she drove a Prius there.
Mumble
fact-
rap Gatsby.
But the fact that she drove a Prius there is, you don't really think about it to begin with, but if you're going to go to a party and get pissed, you're not going to drive, especially as she was intending on driving back anyway.
Yeah.
So she probably wasn't going to drink, because parties in Hollywood aren't just parties, they're like networking events. But this is where she ends up meeting Seb, because she just has to walk home because her car's been towed or stolen or something, but she's looking up at a sign and getting frustrated, so I think it's been towed.
I think it's been sewed as well, yeah.
Must be.
I don't think robbers typically leave a sign.
So, Soz nicked your car. But yeah, so she goes into this restaurant where he's playing, and we get this sweet transition of, it's like a monotone noise that becomes the car horn at the start where he was like beeping at her. I quite like that. Thought it was pretty neat.
It's nice using sound effects as transitional beats.
Yeah,
it's good technique.
Works well. And then we follow Seb's afternoon instead, and we just find out that he likes jazz, but his life sucks.
You like jazz?
Because he's behind on rent, I think, maybe, or he's just moved in and he's not unpacked, and he doesn't like to think that his life sucks, but he sort of knows that it does. Like, he'll admit that it's bad, but then we'll say, it's fine, I'll come back, it'll be fine. Whether how much he believes that, I don't know, but yeah. But he works at this restaurant playing just Christmas music. That's all he's been hired to do. But he doesn't like playing Christmas music because J. Jonah Jameson, he's a tough boss. He just wants pictures of Spider-Man.
He does.
But yeah, we get this Mia and Sebastian's theme. It's called on the soundtrack. It's odd that I say odd. I don't know if it's interesting. Maybe it is. Someone might find it interesting. The soundtrack for this musical has lots of just musical pieces with no lyrics and singing and songs.
Yes.
That's quite nice.
There is this movie's weird because, like, the actual point that I think it stops being a traditional musical is, like, a traditional musical, is the second song, so, like, 10 minutes in, and then obviously not all of it, but a lot of the rest of it is just dance, you know?
Yeah.
It's dance and actual music. And I don't know if, because there was a lot of talk at the time that this was really subversive, and I don't know if that's what people were picking up on and saying, well, it's not really what you expect out of a musical. But it's weird. It's a weird... The sort of stuff that's in this movie is odd to me because musical has had like a really odd history in cinema, where it was huge. It was fucking huge. Everything that this movie pulls from aesthetically, from like the 20s through to the 40s, massive. Musicals were just like one of the big things. It's why Disney movies are musicals, really, and it's why Disney wanted Pixar movies to be musicals as well. And then A lot of people argue about when it happened, but the general consensus is a movie called Hello Dolly happened, starring Barbra Streisand, which kind of used and overused every trope within musical movies so much and so badly that audiences totally tired. It bounced off of everyone, and then movie musicals didn't make a comeback for like years and years and years and years and years until like Phantom was like, and Moulin Rouge and Chicago, and even they were kind of weird. And then cinema changed in 2001 to be really gritty and really realistic, and you can see that reflected across like loads of things. Yeah. That to me, La La Land wasn't subversive to me at the time, and it's not subversive to me now, because it's exactly how I think a post 9/11 movie musical would be. If they'd have gone all out and been a consistent, like, normal musical the whole way through, and I mean, like, really go in where even the dialogue is sung the whole way through the movie, I actually would have been surprised by that. Because I think that would have been a gamble. That would have been a massive gamble.
Technically make it an opera.
I suppose in a way, yeah.
There is no spoken dialogue. It's all sung. So
yeah.
That would have been... I don't know. I feel like a lot of the times you have... speaking in songs as opposed to just songs, those words tend to have a lot more impact.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of an example. What's what I'm thinking of?
The song from Fallout where he's singing like about the world being on fire. He's like, I don't want to let the world be on fire. I love you too much. Those songs, they've got good audio bits in it.
Nice.
That wasn't quite the one I was thinking of.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in Rent.
What's the one I'm thinking? I think it's High School Musical is the example I'm thinking of. Bizarrely. There's you know the bit where Troy climbs up her trellis or something, not an innuendo, into her bedroom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Again, probably not an innuendo. And he starts singing it, like the first song they sang, and then the last word he says, he speaks it instead, and you're like, oh, I guess. I don't know why that was the example I had. I thought it was from something bigger than High School Musical, but there you go. But yeah, I see what you mean. It doesn't...
Relying on melodrama and dance numbers, I feel like it is just what I expect. I think.
It's not super risky, but I think it still works.
It's very Gene Kelly.
We'll get to Gene Kelly later on. I've got a fun fact about Gene Kelly.
Oh, go on.
Well, I'm saving it. You got to wait till the end to hear that one.
Oh wait! Oh god!
Must watch until the end.
Exactly.
Epic Gene Kelly fact.
But yeah, so he's playing the piano. Ryan Gosling actually learnt to play the piano for this film, which is pretty impressive because he plays it very well. Although I've got a feeling, rather than doing hours and hours worth of piano lessons, I think he just learnt these songs.
That's what I'd have done.
Probably, yeah.
So he can just muscle memory out the songs and the quick bits and whatever. But if you ask him to play, I wasn't say Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but that's a really easy song anyway.
You could probably do that, yeah.
Probably could do that one. But yeah, I don't think he could play other things. But he got fired for trying to play jazz when he all JJ wanted. I don't know what his actual name is, but yeah, it was just some jazzy Christmas music. So he got fired, and he storms out and barges straight past Mia, and she's like, "Oh, all right, I was gonna compliment your music, but you're a prick." And she goes back off, and we get a little montage of her doing more auditions. This might be me reading too much into this, but what she's wearing and the background always contrast. So she's not blending in, she is standing out, but also she's not standing out because she's not getting cast.
Quickly touching on colour before you carry on as well, I also think that the reason why a lot of these colours are so intense and in your face is because when a lot of these musicals were made, Technicolor had only just become a thing.
Yes.
So they were like, shit, everything's got to be as bright as possible. So I think that's what they've done here, and that's why it does look so like old school and old timey or whatever you want to call it, because the use of colour is just so intense, and it's really cool.
Yeah. Colour is used, as we say, quite a lot in this. Not just to be bright and colourful, to like mirror like classic cinema, but there's one thing that I picked up on that I'm definitely not the only one who picked up on this, is the red, blue, purple thing. So he's red, I think, she's blue, and when they're together, or like they're together in a relationship, as demonstrated by Amelia's gorgeous background, purple is everything. There are examples of this as we go through. We haven't seen any of it yet because they're not really together, although she was blue dress, red neon, but yeah, whatever. There are better examples later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we cut to spring, and she's still going to pool parties, still networking. So it's been a whole season. So that's what, 3 months?
Yeah.
I'm surprised, by the way, that either of them recognize each other at this party.
It's quite odd, isn't it? Unless they just keep bumping into each other.
I could kind of believe Emma Stone, because if you've not had anything to drink that night, you've had a pretty shitty night, you've gone to this bar, you've wanted to try and compliment someone and they've barged you. It probably would leave a lasting impression. You're probably like, what a fucking dick, and it probably would stay in your mind. But he looked right through her, you know?
She probably had to explain, like, off camera who she was. Like, oh no, I was the one that you totally ignored when I was going to compliment you, you arsehole.
Yeah.
But so we get some more, I say more modern. No, it's 80s music. It's more modern than the setting, I guess, even though it's set modern day. But anyway, at this party, all you can hear is Take On Me, because this is 80s band playing at this pool party, and Seb is a pianist. I love that word so much. Pianist. Fantastic. Yes, something that's like this film, as I've been doing more and more recently with films, because often I'll watch something while I'm doing something else, but I still have one eye on there. I had the subtitles on, and so all the lyrics of the song came up as it was happening, and it was almost like the audio description instead, because what's happening sort of matches what's being sung about, which is kind of subtle, and I definitely didn't pick up on that.
It's pretty cool
until I had the subtitles, which is neat.
Maybe it's just me.
Go on.
I get that Seb's like supposed to be a movie snob that's kind of up his own ass, but if you're gonna pick some like cheesy pop songs to rail on and say that's not real music, don't pick 3 absolute bangers, you know.
Yeah, we get Take On Me, Iran, and Tainted Love. But
you know what I mean?
Classics, those. Eventually they leave the party together because they've kind of got on quite well, because he hates what he's doing and she isn't getting a chance to do what she loves. And they leave. They get the car keys to a Prius, although everyone owns a Prius apparently. I don't get what that was about.
Maybe that's an LA joke.
Probably.
LA joke, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Isn't there a joke in a film about... I swear there's a joke in a film somewhere about being like, oh, a Prius, everyone in this town has a Prius or something. I think there's a joke about LA, everyone owns a Prius. I can't think what it's from.
Maybe if this film was set here, everyone would have owned a Fiat 500 or something, you know?
Yeah. So they end up walking up to a car which is parked miles away, and when they reach this little bench, they end up singing A Lovely Night, which is like the classic poster song. That's the one, in the yellow dress, doing the... It's not quite... I was going to say it's a dab, but it's not. It's definitely nowhere near that.
It's a reverse dab. It's the opposite to a dab.
It is 2016, so if it was a dab, it wouldn't surprise me.
It's Bill Gates' dab. That's what it is.
It is.
I've got
I
a
know
mate
which one you're on
who,
about.
on his Instagram, he's got a picture of him with the Chuckle Brothers. I know we've talked about it before.
Oh my god, the Chuckle Brothers.
And they're like, oh, let's do one of them dabs. And they're there with like one arm across the forehead, another one like this. It's like, what is that? What is that?
Oh my god, 2016.
So
That's fucking
good.
disgusting year, that one.
Yeah, but this is a lovely scene. They're getting to know each other. They're having this conversation. They don't want to be together, but they do. The sky behind them as well is real. Like they didn't CGI or I was going to say touch up. I'm going to say enhance instead.
Yeah.
Didn't enhance it all at all with CGI. But
Is that scene not a thing? Is it not a set? I assumed that it was a set and that they used
It's a real
screen.
place, I think.
No,
I'm
it's
pretty sure it is.
I knew
looks
that
like
it was
a
a real
set.
place.
But no, it's a real place. So like
So they actually filmed on location for that?
Yeah.
That really looks like a soundstage with one of those, like not green screen, but like an actual screen up on behind it, you know. I didn't think.
It looks nice that it's because that's again the sort of technique they would have done in classic cinema and stuff.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It was like from like a classic kind of Hollywood musical where you could tell that it was a set, but that was part of the style of it.
But no, apparently this is real. Because they only had 30 minutes of the sky like that, so they managed to shoot it in just 2 days, 30 minutes each day.
Mad.
Which is pretty good. Although apparently they nailed it, but yeah, that's the place.
There's someone's put up. It's not very good quality, but if you want to find it, it's like a map of all the locations in La La Land.
That's cool.
Like, I knew it was a real place, but I assumed it was thing. I assumed they just recreated, because I know obviously when they're walking up the road, that is obviously on location. But then I thought this bit where they were dancing, I thought they'd recreated a thing on that road, but maybe I guess not. Weird.
I think it's because of how whimsical it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be real.
This whole bit is very like singing in the rain. I feel tap dancing. I'm not sure. I know they don't swing around a lamppost quite, but tap dancing up and down the street and off benches and stuff. It just looks very classic. But yeah, they finish. Her car's right there. She gets in, drives off, offers him a lift, but he's like, my car's like the next one. But it's not. He has to walk all the way back to his party, which I think is quite sweet on his part. But yeah, next day she's going to work. She's walking past all the movie sets, but to begin with, you don't know that. You just think it's walking down a street, and you think, "Wow, look at that." But it's because it's a studio. It's just nice that she's so close to having what she wants, and it keeps getting suggested that she's in a movie, but she's not until the very end. Anyway, spoilers. But yeah, so Seb rocks up, wants to go see her at work. They end up leaving quickly because he's not supposed to be there and probably going to get not arrested. What's the word? Is there another word when you get like arrested by someone, or they just sort of hold you in a room and question you?
Detained.
That's the one, detained. Yeah. But they have a little conversation about like their origin stories, and we find out that Mia hates jazz, and Seb's like fucking outraged by that because one thing he says to his sister back at the start when he's in his apartment is he won't like anyone if they don't like jazz. But he sort of makes an exception for Mia, which is cute. So to try and explain a little bit more about jazz to Mia, he takes her to this little, I think it's a lighthouse cafe, which again, another real place. And he explains all this jazz stuff about her, and while there, Mia gets a call back. She's like, big break, it's finally going to happen, this big audition. But when she eventually goes to it, it's very short. She barely gets started, and I'm like, nah. Oof, that's rough.
Ouch.
But before that,
I always find it really weird when they do things like this in films where it must be really weird for the actor who's in this big, kind of Hollywood film pretending like she's a failed actress.
Yeah.
That must be really weird. Like they do it in Entourage.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's one of the characters is like a dying kind of star or whatever, and it must be really weird auditioning for like TV shows and stuff, and then not getting him, and then him actually being kind of, because you gotta imagine like there's an element of that even in the person playing, like for Emma Stone there must be an element of that she's actually feeling like she actually went to these these auditions before she was in whatever the first film that made it. What was her first like proper film that she was like the thing one? Was it Easy-E? No, Easy-A. Easy-A. Was it that one? Was that her first one?
I don't think that was her first one. No, because she starred in that, and
that's what
typically you don't
debut
as your starring role,
Like, I mean, either way, she must have gone to things. I just find it really weird when they get like proper established actors and actresses to play failing actors, and it must.
I suppose they can draw off a lot of experience, I guess.
It must be kind of like there must be an element of it though that kind of makes them like happy almost, because it's like, oh man, there are people who still go through this. But
the first one was Superbad.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, Superbad.
That was her first film.
I forgot she was in that.
The House Bunny. Oh my god, I forgot about that. And then she did Zombieland in 2009, which then went on to
Zombieland
and Easy A.
Jesus Christ.
I love Zombieland.
Zombieland? Oh my god. I completely forgot about that as well. All these films.
Yeah, it's only just dawned on me now that she's saying what movie. She tells Seb what movie it is she's going to audition for, and he's like, oh, we can go watch that at the cinema, they're showing it. But actually, she does the audition before they go on that date. Only just dawned on me that. So, that was mildly interesting, I guess.
I find it sometimes hard to sympathize with characters who are like struggling actors in big Hollywood movies, because big Hollywood movies only ever cast starring roles with big Hollywood stars. So I don't know. I understand that I'm supposed to be able to make that, to disconnect that and see Mia, not Emma Stone, but I can't because it's Emma Stone. It's Ryan Gosling. You know, and when the A-listers, I'm like, you bitch, you ain't struggling.
Well, for me, it's really weird, isn't it? Seeing like A-list celebrities pretending to be failed actresses and actors. Yeah. It's really weird. There's something like not right about it. I don't
know. But yeah, just after this bit, we get Ryan Gosling singing City of Stars. And I'm not sure if it was this one or the duet we get later on that won a bunch of awards. It might have been this one. Yeah, he does more Singing in the Rain-esque dancing.
Yeah.
Finds a hat, trades it for a woman.
Fair trade.
He was probably just returning the guy his hat and being cute about it. I don't know. But that happens.
Well, it's not happened to me personally, but I'm sure it does happen.
Yeah, maybe.
Just saying.
But yeah, we're back at Mia's apartment, and her boyfriend rocks up, or partner, and this is the first we see of him, and it's kind of like, what's he doing? What's he doing here? Who's he? Which is kind of how I guess she feels as well, because he's not mentioned at all. Now that I think about it, I don't know how important he is to have been included at all. I guess it just sort of emphasises how much she prefers Seb's character over this. I
think so, yeah.
I guess that's the only reason, but otherwise the whole movie could have gone without him being in it. He's a quite probably deliberately forgettable part.
I think it's probably to show how many sparks there is here.
Yeah. There's like a by comparison sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she stands up Seb to begin with before then going back to him. The cinema they go to, I think it's called the Rialto,
yeah.
One of the cinemas, one of the two locations that they reopened just to shoot this movie. We'll come to the second one when we come to it. But yeah, pretty interesting that the director had it has to be this cinema. I don't want to recreate it. We're going to actually reopen this one, go inside and do it. Again, as she comes in, she stands right in front of the screen, looks at everyone, trying to find him.
No one gets pissed off by that. That would annoy me.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one hurled a hot dog at her or something.
Just stands in front of the screen what the fuck are you doing? Stop,
I know, right?
Move.
I'm pretty sure the reason she did that is so that we can get another, oh, hey, look, she's on the screen.
She's in the movie.
She's in the movie.
Yeah. She's so close to being in the movie.
Yeah, which is a neat little thing. And they sit down, hold hands, and they're watching a movie about going to that observatory planetarium play. What's that actually
Isn't it called the Observatory?
I feel like it is.
I think so, but the song's called Planetarium, which is confusing.
I'm sure it's called the LA Observatory. I'm sure that's what it's called.
Isn't that the observatory? It became a bit of a meme because Logan Paul pretended to have colour blindness there.
It's called the Griffin Observatory.
No, it's Griffith, because it's in Griffith Park, innit? Yeah.
See, the only thing I think of whenever I see this observatory, before I'd seen La La Land, it's used in Rebel Without a Cause.
That's the movie
I've seen it a few times. It's in quite a lot of stuff.
That was a movie they're watching at the cinema.
Oh, is it? Oh,
it's like one of thingy.
Yeah, which is
it's like one of LA's biggest kind of thingy locations. You go to it in GTA 5 quite a lot.
True.
Which I know isn't set in LA, but come on.
Oh, come on.
Let's be honest, it is.
Come on, background. Don't be doing this. There.
That's
you can kind of see it.
Yeah, with the big green.
I was thinking, with that particular place, this is a fun fact about myself. I'm going to bring I Am Legend up again, by the way.
Ooh,
just to let you know. When I was younger, when I first read it, and I really wanted to adapt it into a film, I planned the end of the book to be set at the LA Observatory, because spoilers, he dies at the end, but I didn't want him to die the way he dies in the book. So I was going to have it that they chase him there, and then he's going to be like wounded, and then he would die overlooking the view of LA, because that's one of the best places you get the view of LA at an iconic location. So there's a fun fact for you. That's why I know so much about the Griffith. Well, I call it the LA Observatory, but it's called the Griffith Observatory.
In my head, I don't know why, but because you have such a fondness for that story, that I feel like it has to have always been in your life. So when you were planning to adapt this book into a movie, you would have been 8. That's what it is in my head.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I probably wasn't that young, but I was probably like 11 or 12, maybe.
Wow.
So, but yeah, it's set in LA, innit? So I was like, what place
I like
could be
how,
a good
as an
end to LA?
11-year-old, you have enough critical ability to be like, yeah, that book was amazing, but I have issues with the ending.
Well, yeah, no, I did. It ended, and I was like, okay, that's a shit ending, that, innit? Like, I get that's the point, but like, I was gonna change it, and even then, I was gonna change it. I was like, yeah, man, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Characters in the book, you'll get a better ending in my film. Don't worry about it. You'll get a good ending.
So the film breaks, like, well, now what are we going to do? So they drive up to the observatory, and the shot is probably, I don't know how similar it is, but it's very similar to the one that was in the film, where the car comes along and the camera moves down. So again, they're living in a movie, but they're not. Loads of neat little things like that. Do they break in? Right? It's fairly late at night. There's no one around. The whole place is empty and deserted. They must just break in and just chill.
They're sneaking around, and like when they walk around that corner, he like jumps and like she shits herself, and that's to me thinking that maybe they have actually broken in. So crime, yes, criminals.
But crime's fine if you're doing it to be cute.
Yeah.
Is it
all's fair?
Don't quote me on that. I was joking. Don't use that in like a court of law.
So like, if your girlfriend says to you like, "Oh man, I want a car," she's like, "Oh man, right, okay, I'll rob a bank to buy her a car."
No problem.
Is that cute? Yeah.
It's cute.
Oh
yeah,
exactly.
I
suppose. Yeah. It's like, oh look, I got you this car. Oh, how'd you get it? I stole it. Oh. Right.
Probably not quite, but whatever. But yeah, so they end up walking in, and they're almost immediately, even their walking's in sync, because it's actually the music builds and they're dancing, because we've got the next musical thingy. It's called the Planetarium, which is why I get confused as to what that place is actually called. And there's this weird thing. Do they take drugs and just start like floating in the stars?
It's a musical.
It's just a musical,
Musical logic.
Shoot, scene.
It's one of my favourite pieces of music from the whole film.
It's nice. It's really
nice. I really
nice.
like it.
It works. I think it works really well, and the whole like thing where they're on wires going up, all looks pretty good. I think I read somewhere that this was one of the few locations that wasn't actually an on-set location. They had to recreate it.
I don't think they actually flew through space. No.
Ah, you bastard! You sarky son of a bitch. That's fair.
Do you know what would have been really interesting? When they're dancing through space and they're silhouetted, and it's a really pretty shot. This is something Charlotte said to me, and I think makes a lot of sense. The only thing that makes it not as good as it could be is that you can see they're standing on a solid. You see the floor is flat. It would have been really interesting if you could have tried to get them to do the choreography underwater and then sped the footage up. So it would have been floaty. So you still would have got the speed that you wanted to be at, but it would have been more floaty, like through space, instead of just walking on the
wires, maybe.
I've never tried to do a waltz underwater, though.
I imagine it would have been really difficult.
Yeah.
You could have like motion tracked some people doing the movements and then planted them onto a silhouette you were going to animate later anyway.
I just put it on wires, penguin. Have like on a track.
I just thought just being able to see the floor in space was like, I wanted to be whisked away into space and I could see the floor. So
fair enough.
let's take it up.
Walking on the stars.
And they have this neat bit at the end where they've done their dancing, they come down and they sit on the chairs. That whole shot is reversed, which is kind of neat because they end up like landing perfectly in the seats. So rather than try and lower them into the seats, they lifted them up. Pretty neat little another thing that kept getting thrown in my face whenever you search La La Land facts on Google. But there you go.
10 La La facts you didn't know. Number 8 will make you shit your pants.
But this I've written down. It's the first one I've written in my notes anyway. Just purple. So this is like, as I was saying before, the red, blue, purple thing. We get a shit ton of it in this because space is purple apparently. Loads of things depict space as being purple. I think it's a nicer colour than black. For like, whatever. This scene ends with like the circle thing. It comes in and closes. I don't. What's that called? Where like the black.
Oh, it goes like that, where it kind of like
how they do at the end of every cartoon ever, and like the black screen like closes in on a circle, and they're like left in the middle.
There is a name for it. There is a name for that transition. I don't know what it is though.
I should know this, shouldn't I? That's awful.
I just imagine
on the it does that thing, doesn't it, where it opens on the letter, but it freezes for a minute, so you can read it, and then it expands. Yeah.
I just imagined Ryan Gosling like sat on the edge of the transition, being like, "That's all, folks."
Different. That'd been a different movie.
Whoa.
But yeah, it does that, and that's just very classic. And at that point, it's kind of like in the end in the Simpsons movie, where you're like, it could end here, but we don't get the to be continued now.
Oh, we should have.
Sorry for those flashbacks, Joe. I know you don't like talking about it.
Makes me really sad. I still feel with tear.
Yeah, we get the thing. As Joe said, it opens
called
up
Iris.
a little bit.
That's what the transition's called.
That makes sense.
What's it called?
Iris.
Oh, that does make sense. Yeah. How'd you find that?
I typed in whole film transition. So
very good.
There you go.
But yeah, it opens back up again, and we're in summer. They've been together for quite a while because we're in summer now, and that's how the passage of time works. And we've got this little montage as we've got this more music over the top of it. The tram thing they go on is called the Angels Flight Railway. That was another thing they got reopened for the movie. He commits another crime when he smashes up that Samba Tapas. The sign for it.
Oh yeah.
He's on the outside. He takes it, smashes it. So this guy's.
I'd go to prison.
Yeah, absolutely.
I bet he's got like wanted posters everywhere that the LAPD are like looking for him. Like, was the Jazz Bandit? Was he at? That's what his name is.
The Jazz Bandit.
That's like
very good.
What he's known as. That there's like a whole other sequel to this film that's set during it, and it would be like the events of this film told from the point of view of like a PI looking for him.
Phenomenal.
And like when he's actually on tour, he's actually just on the run. That's what's going on.
When after Mia leaves at the end of the movie, a cop walks like right in, and they're like, "Damn, it's Seb, we got him!" And fucking a massive like SWAT van
raids the thing, raids the whole place. Oh my god!
It's the Jazz Bandit. Don't let him get away.
He paid for it. That's how he paid for it. He committed like the last crime or something, one last job, and he opens a restaurant. That's what it is.
He always has to like play a little bit of jazz as he like makes his getaway. You'll never take me alive. Whoa!
Running away. Oh man, what a film that would be.
There's always like a convenient piano just wherever the place he's robbing. He's like in a bank, and there's just a convenient piano just there. He just taps some keys and like pisses off.
It'd be the bit at the end when they raid the thing. They'd be like, "You'll never take me alive," into like the mic, and then he'll get all of his mates to be playing the piano like dun, 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 and like it's him like jumping over tables.
As he's like swinging off chandeliers and stuff.
Like leapfrogging over the police and stuff.
Oh,
that's what it'll be.
That's the sequel we want.
He'll be like sliding down the bar and everything. That'd be what it'd be like.
Make that movie Hollywood, you cowards.
Do it.
The montage of them doing things finishes, and they're back at the Lighthouse Cafe, and he's either working there or he's just casually playing on the piano. And Emma Stone's doing some dancing. Again, she's in blue and red. Hey, more colours.
Nice.
and they do this whole spotlight. You can just see them; they're the new ones in focus, sort of thing. Then John Legend rocks up. He wants to put together a pop jazz band group thing, but Seb doesn't know about the pop element yet. So he turns it down anyway before he finds it out. And we're back at the apartment again. Oh yeah, this is the bit where Seb says, "Look, everything's gonna be fine. I'm gonna have this jazz club called Chicken on a Stick, and your play. Oh yeah, Mia's been writing a play. Is gonna be what does he say? A triumph." Oh, he was wrong about that. The play was it didn't suck, but no one went to go and watch it.
I mean, it's LA and it's a one-person show.
Hey,
you know,
how many people are gonna watch that?
Like, but, again, if this movie was set in New York, then they might have had a turnout. You know,
yeah.
People will just go and see. They can't get Broadway tickets. They'll just go and see anything. You know.
Yep. But eventually he ends up joining John Legend's band anyway because he needs money, and he's gonna get paid like $1,000 a week on top of like merchandise sales and whatever.
Not bad.
So he says he's gonna join it, and we're on to the next page. Cool. Then we get them having this little duet for City of Stars. Or was it this one that got the award? I have forgotten. It's one of these two. So as I say, either this duet or the first one. There's more colour stuff, and as this is going on, there's more of a montage. We find out that she quits her job at the cafe in order to write this play that wasn't very great. And the ending of this song, it's like another musical transition. It ends with applause as the next one starts with that applause. So I think it's nice that they put that in the middle, because they're going to be clapping at the start of this gig, this concert, but the overlap works quite nicely that they've just finished singing. And this is where shit starts to hit the fan for their relationship. It just starts to break, and I'm pretty sure like this is where like the colours are all fucking all over the place, but I won't keep touching on it because that's a pain in the ass. They get this big poppy jazz number, and Mia just gets pushed further and further back in the crowd, as she's just her view is obscured. Yeah, there we go. Obscured.
Nice.
Am I saying that right?
I think so.
Okay, she can't see what's going on properly. Just as she can't see how this is him realizing his dream.
It's such a weird thing to get stressed out about, though, isn't it? Like, oh no, my boyfriend's not quite playing the sorts of music that he wanted to.
Yeah, I guess.
And she has like a full-on panic attack. It's a non-issue, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing this instead. But, yeah, and then it cuts straight to black. Like, the song ends, even on the soundtrack, when the song ends, it ends very abruptly. And it's just a black screen, and we jump ahead to fall, or autumn. But I feel like fall fits a bit better, because things are falling apart. Wait.
I don't need you now tonight. I don't need you. Okay, continue.
I need you more than ever.
Oh man, yes.
Incredible.
Thank you.
Then what happens? Oh yeah, from here point on, you very rarely see purple. It's all the separate colours, just reds and just blues. She's on the phone, which, because Seb's been touring away with this band for ages, and she's on the phone, which is kind of like that audition she was doing back at the start. Intentional or not, I don't know. Probably, actually. It's most definitely.
I can imagine it probably would be, yeah.
Surely.
Of it.
And he's come back and he's surprised her with a little dinner that he's cooked, or is still cooking. As we find out later, he's fucking burnt the rest of it to shit because they end up arguing about how he's not gonna. He isn't like realizing his dream, whereas she's getting closer, I think. Lots of green in this, so you can't see any purple. It's like washed out as blue, and green. I'm getting very English language at this point, but green is envy in it.
Yeah, typically.
So there's loads of jealousy going on. His song, bizarrely, is playing on the record in the background the whole time. But hey, maybe he could have his own song put on a record for him. I don't know. But like the end,
you can get like printed. I'm sure. I think you can get like custom prints for record. I think.
Are they still in the shitty flat at this point?
Yes.
He's on 1,000 a week, and it's been at least 3 months.
Yeah.
I know what they say, don't you? That it's what's that? 1,000 a week. That's 4,000 3 months. Oh, maths. I don't know.
12 grand.
12 grand.
12 grand.
Yeah.
For an LA
He's
apartment.
saving up for that restaurant, though.
Okay, you see, I hear you. 12 grand's more than I make in a year.
Yeah, but there's a difference. We live in Manchester.
Yeah.
They live in LA. LA's
and he's playing in a popular music band that's been touring.
Yeah, and he's saving up for the restaurant as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. See, that's the thing I don't get about this argument. Is it again? It seems really petty, because surely it should have come down to like, well, you're not doing what you want to do. You don't feel like you're selling out. Yeah, but I'm saving up for the restaurant. Oh, fair dues. Yeah, I forgot. Money exists, and you know, we can't destroy it as a concept. So you'll have to make some, won't you, honey? Like, I don't know. It's a very petty thing to start a full-on fight about, isn't it?
So have you ever tried to start a restaurant? No, I have not. Well, there you go. Try and start a restaurant, then come back to me with your argument.
It's the fact that he was planning on, like, even after he finished this tour, he was still planning on writing another record, another album, and then going on tour for the next one again. So that's, what? Even if he'd done it for a year, 52 grand. I bet he was planning on just to keep doing it. I don't think you need 104 grand to open a restaurant. Or maybe you do.
This is it. Is restaurants are
LA.
notoriously risky.
Yeah.
Don't
they say
I've
you
seen a
don't
fair
make any
few
profit
Gordon
until at
Ramsays in
least,
my
like,
time. I would know. There's those ones that the nightmare. What's it called? Gordon
Kitchen
Ramsay's
Nightmares.
Kitchen Nightmares.
Kitchen nightmares.
Bro, they're expensive.
Maybe he does need that long then. But, yeah, it just seems like he feels like he's given up. And he never actually says, oh, no, I'm just making money. He's always like, oh, I'm just going to keep doing this. Because he's sort of given up a bit. But, yeah, the relationship ends, emphasised by the record ending. The fact that it's a record, yeah, because he likes jazz, so he's in, like, old-timey records, but it's going round, like, how his life is just going to be on this same cycle. There's loads of, like, cinematic hidden messages in this. And when you're writing down notes for them, they're much easier to pick up on, which is why I've got a lot of them.
I remember, like, when that scene ended and I saw the record had stopped, I turned to Beth and I was like, record's ended. It's over for him. Record's ended.
It's all over. It's done.
It's all over. The record's ended.
So she leaves, and her play hasn't been a big success. There's more clever colour use. She's like, fuck LA, fuck all of this, I'm giving up, going back to live with my parents.
Because there's a thing in there as well about how she's annoyed because he wasn't there, because he forgot about that photo shoot they've got to do. And he's got to do the awkward smiling thing.
Oh, it's so cringy.
Oh, it's so weird.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Let's say, for the purposes of argument, that you'd forgotten. You know, you're Ryan Gosling and you've forgotten, right? He must not care about her at all to just show up after the fact when they are both in possession of mobile phones.
Yeah.
True.
This is not a 20s inspired musical set in the 20s. It is set in the year it comes out, and she literally has a mobile phone in one of the auditions. The movie goes out of its way to show her waiting with it by her ear while just ring her up. It probably would cause a bit of an argument. Oh, well, let's change your schedule. Can you not cut it to my debut? Can you not come? It probably would cause an argument, right? Oh my god! Like,
what if she was already backstage though? Her phone, if she had it on her, would have been on silent, because that's not very professional. Maybe
he didn't even try.
Maybe.
And if he did try, it was off screen, which is kind of my problem with a lot of the back end of this movie. Is a lot of these issues are presumed to have happened without us getting to see them, because the way their relationship breaks down and how it breaks down and how unbelievably a non-issue the actual breakup is, I don't believe they liked each other to begin with. But the movie goes out of its way to tell me how magical it was when they were getting together. I don't know. Like, maybe I get to sit here on a high horse being in a nearly 7-year long-term relationship. But me and Charlotte have had arguments pretty bad arguments. You know?
Yeah, but have you ever
these
gone
people
to a photo
don't
shoot rather
seem
than her debut?
these
of
people
Amanda
don't
Play?
seem like they even like each other at all now. Like
He
even a
cooked
little
dinner.
bit.
He cooked dinner
Even
for
a
her.
little bit. Yeah, and then what happened? She went, "You're making music. Fuck your dinner." Like,
Yeah, she didn't say that, but yeah.
it's so, I don't know. It's so small scale. It's so small scale. It's so like white and melodrama and boring. Hate it.
Fair play. But yeah, so it's all broken down. It hasn't worked. She's gone home. He's still playing music, doing bits. He's at a... I thought this was a wedding reception, but I think it was an engagement party because the song on the soundtrack is called Engagement Party. And he's playing his theme, well, him and Mia's theme. His and Mia's theme. Bad English, whatever. Despite the fact that he's playing it for someone else. So it's kind of like sad and reminiscent or whatever. But then when he gets back home, he gets a call from the casting director of this big fucking movie because she'd seen Mia's play. And was like, oh, I can't get hold of her. Where is she? She could actually end up being really famous. And there's like, for a split second after he like sits upright and he's about to dash out, we get a lens flare, like a red and blue one. Again, there you go. It's not over yet. And again, we cut to this loud car horn, so we know immediately, oh, car horn, it must be Ryan Gosling. That's not what I always think, by the way. Whenever I'm sat in traffic and hear someone like beeping, I assume it's Ryan Gosling.
Here he is.
Right.
Horny Ryan Gosling.
Don't leave me alone.
Yeah. So he's like, oh, you've got this big ass audition. Come on, let's go. And she's like, oh, I can't do it. And then they end up doing it anyway, because actually, of course you're going to do it. And this, so then we get the audition, which is kind of spoken and sung, which was done live, no lip syncing or anything, which I presume must have been done with some of the other songs, especially ones with loads of dancing and stuff.
I'd imagine
Selectively, yeah.
But this one was...
There's some way you can hear it like in the mix that it's just a track they're playing over in the edit.
but
Like
this,
it's yeah.
This one was all live. Got her to do 9 takes of it, but picked the second one.
Ouch.
Which is kind of rough, I guess.
That's harsh.
But yeah. Have you guys ever had that where you need lots of takes or something, but then end up picking like a really early take?
Yes, I have.
I haven't, but I don't.
It was on one of our films in the second year, and we were filming this guy, and he was an actor, and we ended up getting... He messed up a few of them, so we wanted to do them again, but then he got quite a lot of them well, and he was really into the role, so I was curious to see what he was going to do. But we ended up getting 29 takes of this scene, and we ended up using like the 5th take or something in the actual film. Because he kept on saying, no, I can do it better. And I'm like, no, stop, you can't. I'm in charge, stop. And he was like, and then he would start doing it. I was like, you fucking idiot, stop. And then he would do something different every single time. So I was like, fucking hell, I want to see what you're doing. So I kind of let him kind of go a bit mad with it. And then it got to like 29, and I was like, right, that's it. Stop. And I literally had my mate move the camera away to a different position. And I was like, right, we're not doing it anymore. And yeah, and we ended up using the fifth take.
I mean, there's sometimes where you find that, especially if there's a lot going on in the scene, and the script supervisor can't keep track of everything. You sometimes find that a take that might have been performed really well, that was like take 17, just can't be used, and you've got to rely on one of the earlier ones for like continuity, or just because it's the timings maybe slightly better for the editor, like more space hither and there at either side of it. You can't always guarantee just based on the day what shot you're going to use in the end.
I read a thing where Joaquin Phoenix said that because the ending, the way they shot Joker, especially that ending scene, they just did like so many different takes, and he did something different in every single take. And apparently the speech that he gives in it changed in every single one. And the one that they used in the final film was not his best one, but it was because that was the best one that had the best kind of... There was something about the others that wasn't right, or something like something like continue. Like there was a I can never say that word.
Continuity.
That's the one. One of those errors. They didn't flow right with the previous scenes, and the one they ended up using was one of the few that actually did. So he's actually said that the one that's in the final film, isn't his favourite one that they did, and he'd be like, but
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get this story of how her aunt decided to give herself pneumonia by jumping into a river.
Chick from Vertigo.
Oh yeah, that's exactly who it was. Yeah. And so she finishes the audition. It seems to have gone really well. And they go sit on that bench again. As it turns out, is right below that observatory, which they couldn't see when it was dark. I'm sure they put lights or something on it, but we as an audience didn't see it.
Yeah, probably.
And they have that chat about how, oh, look at this great view. Oh, what a waste. Like,
I thought the LA view's that nice, you know.
All you can see is smog, surely.
It's a bit,
all driving Priuses, like, still just exhaust fumes everywhere.
Yeah, it's a bit small, I think. Like, it's like everything's way off in the distance. And then, like, there's not... I mean, if you're in the hills, maybe. But even then, by the time you get to, like, a height where you can see the actual city and the skyline, you're way far away. And, like, the city itself, the buildings that makes up the skyline, is, like, way miles away. And they're tiny. And you've got all that bit in front of you that's a bit meh.
Well, like industrial
and the skyline...
sort of area. It's not industrial, it's sort of warehouses and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the LA skyline is only nice if you... Or at least from this angle, if you are, like, a big buff for, like, industrialism and expansionism and, like, just houses, you know? Like, oh, look at all the things that we've built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So we
clinging glasses together with champagne. Like, what a job we've done! Aren't we quite the gentlemen? Ting.
But it seems like maybe they've kind of fixed things because they're having that cute chat again. But we cut to winter and it's 5 years later, and it eventually gets revealed that no, they didn't. Because although they've both achieved their dreams, she's a big movie star, going back to that cafe again. One big cycle, we're back where we started, but better, because she's achieved it. Back at Christmas as well, jazzy jingle bells in the background, which is where Seb started, but now he's not doing that anymore.
Doesn't she live in New York now? It kind of hints
they're
that
still in LA.
No, but like it hints that they're in New York, because that place that she lives in is a hotel. That building, that with that iconic building that she drives into, that's a hotel in real life. Huh. And they say, don't they, when they're on the way out, that she says like, oh, we'll see him when we're back in New York, when they're on about talking to the mates or something. I mean, unless it isn't just a hotel, I don't know. But I'm sure that building. Well, I know that building is a hotel.
I think I know which one you're on about. It's that famous Hollywood Hills hotel. Isn't it?
Oh, maybe it is.
So I'm sure.
Maybe they are back in New York, and
I
hadn't picked up on any changes.
It could be a case of they live in New York, but she's maybe in LA because they're filming something.
That makes sense.
Because they tend to stay like a couple months, don't they?
Yeah.
In LA while they're filming like studio stuff.
Was it this one?
From one side of the country.
It's called the something hotel. Yeah, that one.
It's a really famous hotel.
It's a really famous
now you say
hotel.
That, yeah, it looks like
the Chateau Marmont.
Yeah,
that's the name.
It's one of the most.
Like,
it's like a proper.
What's the building in Vertigo? That hotel they go to. Because it looks like that.
I don't think it's given a name.
They look similar in design either way. I thought. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it was it would have been built like around like the 1920s maybe, I'm gonna guess. That's because it kind of has that kind of. I'll tell you what the thingy in Disney, the Tower of Terror in Disney's design based on it, because it's like an iconic 1920s, 1930s Hollywood hotel that all like the A-list celebrities would stay at, and you know it's all fancy and expensive, and
but it
so
definitely
I think
helps add to the aesthetic anyway.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, loads of like Hollywood like celebrities and like 1940s scandals happen there, basically.
Yeah, they go to it all the time in Entourage, like all the time. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
But yeah, so she's ended up meeting her husband, who, big reveal, it's not Seb, but maybe she's playing a role in a movie. No, that's her life. Her perfect dream was a life without him.
See, they don't even like each other.
Well, maybe that was the point. But yeah,
it's like they needed each other to move on and get to where they'd be like.
Well, it's weird because like the way I read it, especially that scene just before it, where they're like, "Where are we?" The message, especially knowing on the second viewing, like knowing where that scene's leading into, it's almost like saying your relationship can't work if you want two separate things. If you want to do two separate things in your career. That's what it seems to be. Like, I'm going somewhere, you're going somewhere, let's just split up. I think that's wrong. I think that's incorrect. I think in a way that's very unhealthy as well. I feel like individualism can still exist within a relationship, and I feel like people should want different things, and you can still support one another.
It's especially for their dream though, because they're both like doing this big sort of, because they're both artists, I guess. He likes jazz music and wants to write it and perform it, and she wants to be this actor. They're gonna have a lot of conflicts and clashes anyway. I mean, there's loads of stories of like Hollywood actors who like get together and break up all the time because the relationships don't work. I guess theirs didn't either, but yeah.
But it's kind of lame. I don't know. Me and Charlotte have very different career goals in mind.
If they hadn't met each other, they wouldn't have achieved their dreams either.
See, I kind of get the feeling that with this, Ryan Gosling was kind of for her. Just like, I don't know, like I don't want to say a bit of fun, but like, you think about it, right? Her boyfriend at the beginning, you don't find out what he does, but you know, he's always wearing his suit, and he looks like he's kind of like a businessman.
Yeah. Which
is the opposite to what Ryan Gosling is. I know we meet him when we first see him, like when they're first together, he's in like his suit and stuff. But then that, as a whole, he's not like that, is he? But the guy she ends up marrying is like her original boyfriend, you know. We never see him out of the suit. I mean, obviously we only see him once, but both times we see him in outfits, he's wearing a suit. You know what I mean? So
kind of looks similar as well.
Yeah, they look. I genuinely thought it was the same guy when I first saw the scene. The guy, I thought she'd gone back to this other guy, but they look very similar, and it's kind of like she's took a break from dating that kind of guy that she is normally attracted to, and has gone to Ryan Gosling because he's different. But then it's not worked out because she doesn't really want to be with that kind of, like, the whole kind of like, she was interesting because he was different than what she normally goes out with. And it didn't work, so now she's gone back to what she originally was going to kind of go, you know, like business style man. Yeah. I mean, we don't know. We don't find out what the husband does, but the husband might be an actor as well, I don't know. But I don't think he is. I think he's meant to be at least like an executive or like a producer in like a studio or something.
He's successful at what he does because he's wearing a big suit.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not.
Or at least leeching off her money.
Ooh,
maybe, yeah.
Leech.
Yeah. Either way, he's rich enough to to justify wearing a suit all the time, like her first boyfriend was. And I feel like that's the kind of the weird kind of like. It looked like she'd abandoned that kind of corporate, whatever looking guy at the beginning, but she's just kind of gone back to that at the end. And it's like she didn't abandon it. She just she was like, "Ooh, what's that Ryan Gosling over there? He's quite interesting. He was in The Notebook. Yes, please." And then she's kind of been like, "Okay, The Notebook wasn't that good. I'm gonna go back to, I don't know, Suits. I guess I don't know what things they wear suits in all the time. Mad Men. I'll go out to Mad Men. There we go.
Just sort of fell out of frame. That was
her.
She said Mad Men.
Yeah, I got excited. That was her thought process throughout this film. So yeah, I mean, maybe not Mad Men, but
maybe yeah. But yeah, so they're driving along and like, oh, let's just go and get dinner. But again, as she's thinking that, brake lights are flooding the inside of that car with red. Oh, what? Red Ryan Gosling, I guess. So they end up pulling off, going somewhere else, and they're going to a jazz bar. What?
It's a pulling off. I laughed.
Oh, okay. Wow. Real mature Sam. And they go to this jazz bar called Seb's. Seb's place. What's going to be in here? We all know, she knows, and even as she's going down, she's kind of like scared, but not. Because she could be happy.
She changed the name to her suggestion.
Yeah.
Oh, how cute.
And
how
again,
cute that is.
We get
I mean, chicken on the stick's a bit shit.
It's not great,
Yeah,
is
it is, yeah.
We get more like blue and purple again because they're back together and like reimagining what could have been in that big ass dream sequence, which is hella old classic cinema. And I've not watched that many old films other than Vertigo, so there are probably loads of reference to this, to old films.
I found an article and there's loads of references in it.
So there's like a shit ton that I have definitely missed. But yeah, the one thing I noticed for this is there's the vignette around like the frame where you got like the little black corners. It looks really good. I don't want to say good, but it does.
Fun
it
fact,
looks. Go on.
I used to call that vinaigrette.
Vinaigrette.
Yeah. Until
Nice.
Zach pointed it out to me and I was like, shit, yeah, vinaigrette isn't that word. There you go. You're not as stupid as me.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But yeah, she's obviously wearing purple because and it's like their dream sequence where everything starts over again. They make out in that restaurant instead, end up getting married and having a kid, going to this place where we end up meeting it full circle. Meanwhile, her show was a success. Go to Paris, he opens his thing there. But once all that fast-paced thing's done, and we have like sort of like musical montage of all the other songs, they like share a look at each other and smile. She doesn't clap at the end. Bit fucking rude. And then her husband's like, "Oh, do you want to stay for another one?" She's like, "Nah, fuck him, let's go." That's not quite her sentiment, but they leave.
It's more like, nah, I used to fuck him. Let's go.
Very good. And on the way out, she looks back and he's looking at her. And they kind of share a look, and then
he thinks to himself, I could have been with you if I wasn't the jazz bandit.
Puts on a hat, pulls on a bandana.
There you go, see? He looks like Humphrey Bogart. He pulls a Casablanca at the end, and that's where he's been for the past 5 years. Gets the plane and everything. It's like, don't worry about you, top hat.
Here's to you, kid.
But yeah, he counts in the band and carries on, and that's where it ends. We get this big dramatic fanfare with the end, and that was that.
This right.
Go on.
This scene at the end, this bit that's 5 years later. So, is this particular scene, is this set in 2021? Or is it set in 2016 and the rest of it was set in 2011?
I don't think it matters.
I know we're not meant to...
Yeah, I don't think it matters either.
I know we're not meant to think about it too much. And it's just like, 5 years later, dramatic. But I'm genuinely curious. Because they had like... I might do.
Because the only real time reference you have to go off is like the make of car or the model of phone. So if you want to try and work it out,
but
I feel like if you asked Damien Chazelle that question, it would be the most mundane question he'd ever been asked about anything ever.
Easily.
I can imagine his face. I'd ask him, but he'd be like, there would be no response.
Yeah,
it'd be like
what? Why are you asking me that?
Who let
this
guy in here?
Yeah,
yeah. It would be like a thing. It'd be like, that was 30 seconds of my life. You asking me that question, I'm never gonna get back. And like, I've wasted another minute thinking about it. So, like, you know what I want to do? I want to ask him that question, right, in a situation that's like so. I don't want to just be a guy walk up in the street and ask him that. I want to like be him on the stage at the Oscars or something, and me presenting a reward to him, and me going, you know, in La La Land, when was the 5 minute, the bit after 5 minutes, you know, when it skips 5 years? When's that set?
See, I see you more as the kid, like,
you got fucking Tom Hanks in the audience. You got all these fucking A-listers in the audience watching you ask that question.
Monster.
Oh man, I'd do it. That'd be the perfect situation, because if he'd tell me he wouldn't tell me to fuck off because he's in front of like millions of people. And I'm like, you're not getting this award unless you answer the question. So
I've got a feeling like he would say, if you asked him, oh, you know that 5 years later bit, when's that set? He'd probably just go, 5 years later.
And I'm like, no, yeah,
I'd take that, thank you very much.
He'll go to grab it like that, and I'm like, yeah, no, I get it, I get it.
The Jazz Bandit. Brilliant.
The Jazz Bandit toots again.
Oof. But yeah, before we finish and do final thoughts, I promised a fact about Gene Kelly.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Well, it's Gene Kelly related, right? It's about his widow and his widow's dog.
Oh, right.
So, the Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling, and the director Damien Chazelle, they went to go visit Gene Kelly's widow, to look through all his old stuff for like inspiration to get their head in like the vibe and of that era. And in visiting, they let her dog escape. And
wait, who did?
The actors and then the director, they went over, let the dog escape by accident, and it ran out into the street and into traffic. And then Ryan Gosling and Damien Chazelle had to like kind of chase after it, stopping cars to try and rescue this dog and bring it home. So they nearly killed Gene Kelly's widow's dog in this film, because that would have been a story and a half. But
beautiful.
That was La La Land.
That was La La Land. Amazing. So what we're going to do now is going to go around in a circle and give any final thoughts we have on the movie, and we're each going to give it a score out of 10. And then I'm going to use those scores and use maths to get the objective place of where it ranks on a list of the best to worst movies of all time. Amelia, start us off.
So, yeah, I really like this film. I wished I'd seen it sooner. When this came out, I was one of those people on film Twitter who was like, I don't want to see it. It's overhyped and pretentious. And I really wished I hadn't have thought that, because it is actually, I really like this movie. It's one of my favourites, and I'd like to say, the music's great. I sing most of these songs in the shower on a regular basis, I'm not gonna lie to you. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I personally can give it anything lower than a 10. So for me, it's a 10.
Wow, 10. Jacob?
Yeah, similar for me. I've got a feeling I've lagged out. Wait, no, I'm back. All good.
You haven't.
You were all just very still for a minute. It concerned me.
Anticipation.
Oh, I bet. So, yeah, I didn't watch this until after the Oscars, and even then it wasn't until my brother bought it on DVD, because I think he'd gone to the cinema to watch it. I was like, oh, this film's brilliant. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, sure. And eventually I watched it with him. I'm like, oh, you know what? Fucking loved that. It was gorgeous to look at. I liked what's going on. The idea, the bittersweet ending, I enjoyed that too. As Amelia said, like, the songs are class. I love them. I could easily listen to the soundtrack start to finish without thinking, oh, why am I doing this? I'll sing along to them. Yeah, stunning. Love this film. Yeah, 10.
10.
10 crew. Woo.
I mean, when this came out, I hadn't seen Whiplash yet, so I wasn't really sure. I heard that it was good, but it was a film like drumming, so I wasn't really that interested. But then I watched Whiplash, and I was like, fucking hell, that was awesome. And then this came onto Netflix, so I was like, you know what? It almost won an Oscar. I'll give it that one. It won an Oscar for about 2 minutes, so I'll give it a go. And I knew Beth wanted to watch it anyway, so we watched it, and yeah, it's really good. And but see, the thing is, right, when I said to Beth that we were doing this film this week, she was like, no, I'm not watching it with you, because she doesn't like watching it because the film's good, she likes the film, but the ending, every single time, she hates the ending, and it makes her cry every single time, because it's like, they want to be together, but they don't end up together, and the ending, I don't know, I'm kind of, the film overall, I'd probably give it an 8, because I like the style that it aims for, like the kind of, they successfully managed to get that kind of 1940s musical vibe going, which a lot of films try to do. Not necessarily the 19th musical, but like, they try and get that 1940s kind of film vibe, and not a lot of them do it, whereas this one gets it and kind of nails it on the head is that the term? Is that the expression?
Yeah?
Yep.
Nails the whatever on the it does it really well.
You got it right the first time.
That's the one. So they do it quite well. So I'm going to give it a... Wait, did I say 8? Did I say 8?
8.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give it an 8.
I'm so sorry, guys.
It's fine.
You hated this, didn't you?
I hate this movie.
Knew it.
I hate this movie. Where to start? Yeah, I find the actual melodrama boring, and it's not got any drama to it. It's people that start arguing for the sake of giving the story some semblance of plot. It feels the squabbles are petty and nonsensical, and the fact that it leads to a breakup in the way that it does, like I say, leads me to believe that they never even wanted to be with each other in the first place. It feels like if you shagged someone on a night out because you thought they were hot while you were drunk, and then you realize you didn't like them in the morning, but it plays out over the course of 12 fucking months.
All right.
I thought the music was bland and unmemorable. Sorry,
What? Again.
I literally couldn't even hum you one melody from this. Not one. And I watched it 2 days ago. I think the story of people struggling in an industry when you've got all the talent, and particularly using struggling to make a name for yourself and let yourself be seen, despite the fact that you've got literally everything that requires your field to go ahead, as well as the allusions and use to jazz and tap, made me realize that this just isn't a white person's story, and it's exceptionally white. This is a movie that pulls directly from really strong parts of black culture, and I feel like both the characters should have been people of color, because it fits the story and it fits the music and it fits the dance. And then on top of that, I feel like the only reason that people of color weren't cast is the metatextual reason why they would have struggled to make a success in the movie, because people of color typically aren't cast in these roles. There's a reason why Black Panther is special. That's not a particularly great movie, but it's special now. And Jordan Peele movies, he's a pretty talented guy. He makes good movies. But there's one very key thing that makes his movies so special as they are, and it's just giving a platform to talented people of color that wouldn't have got one otherwise. I wish that they weren't so special, but they are. And I feel like La La Land was a missed opportunity to put something on screen that could have been special. I also think that Damien Chazelle is someone that has seen a lot of film language and understands it, but doesn't know how to apply it in a way that's terribly unique. It's all good and it's all competent, but in a really boring, bland way where you just go, this color means this, and I go, yeah, and then he goes, yeah, and that's it. I feel like this movie has a couple of really pretty shots that will be better served as desktop wallpaper than 2 hours of moving image.
Definitely haven't got any of those posters set as my wallpaper. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, I did not like this. I think it could have been a lot more in almost every way. And but the on-screen talent, while I disagree with their casting, still did a hell of a job. I don't like the songs, but the singing is really good. Ryan Gosling going out of his way to learn piano for this is really impressive, and you couldn't tell in a way that it wasn't something that he didn't have. It does use film language competently, even if it doesn't use it uniquely. I think I have to go back to my roots with this one. Right from the start of this show, and I'm going to give this movie a 4. Vertigo got a 4.
Wow.
I'm going to give it the same as Vertigo.
Wow.
Sam just doesn't like films set in California, that's it. Sam
Yeah.
the Golden State, I think that's what it is. He does.
But that, when applied with maths, gives us our most frequent score. It's back
Yay.
again. Amelia, do you like this movie
Or
Beetlejuice
I
more?
knew it! It's always And as I say, for every single one, I like them both for different reasons. But I think if we're talking about which film I like better from a film point of view, I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. I think La La Land, personally. But I love Beetlejuice, but I think La La Land's a little bit better than Beetlejuice.
Jacob?
I'm going to go with La La Land. Yeah.
La La Land. Joe?
Yeah, La La Land.
Cool. No surprises about what I would have picked. Next movie, Edward Scissorhands or La La Land?
La La Land.
La La Land.
Yeah,
Jacob?
Same.
Joe? Okay, here's where we might start to get the dissent. Dead Man's Chest. La La Land.
Oh.
La La Land.
Yeah, same for me.
Joe, do I need to ask?
I'm gonna say La La Land is not the one I'm picking because I'm picking Dead Man's Chest.
Brings us to a tie. Horse bias, so it climbs anyway.
Oh.
La La Land or Monsters, Inc.?
This is gonna be a bit more tricky.
This is hard.
Yeah.
La La
Because
Land.
now we're playing off like some hardcore nostalgia.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for La La Land, personally.
La La Land. Jacob.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. Joe?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'll go La La Land.
Wow, okay, climbing again. I gotta keep asking these questions. We've rated a lot of fucking movies, 80 out of 100. La La Land or 21 Jump Street?
La La Land. Don't even have to ask me.
That was so quick.
21 Jump Street's a good movie, but compared to La La Land, it's just like, it's like when you put a chick flick next to The Godfather. You're gonna pick The Godfather over a chick flick. This is a boy flick.
Yeah.
True. That's true. It's what level you compare it to, because
Yeah. I'll say for the sake of argument, I think 21 Jump Street uses its tropes and unique action film language in a really cool, creative way. And even though I stand by what I said about La La Land's use of filmic language, I do think it's more appealing in La La Land from a filmic standpoint, the actual look of the film and feel of the film when you compare the two. I would still pick Jump Street, though, obviously. Jacob.
Jump Street or La La Land. I'm gonna go. Yeah, La La Land, I think.
Joe.
Same.
Wow, okay. Moving up. This is it. This is the last hurdle.
one.
The final boss that La La Land has to
Go on.
overcome.
Oh, shit.
La La Land or Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
That's the final hurdle.
Yeah, that's the final boss. My
So
boys.
you tell me that Bill and Ted
William and Theodore.
and
It's been
21
up there for
Jump
that
Street
long.
has beaten out Pirates of the Caribbean.
Fred
And
Sargent,
Tim Burton, hang on.
Something's gone wrong here, I think.
What are you talking about, Joe? This is objective, okay?
This is the objective list.
I guess.
Bill and Ted's great, but La La Land for me.
La La Land.
Same.
Jacob. Joe.
Yeah, same.
It's understandable. I understand what happened. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. So that puts La La Land as the 7th greatest movie of all time. Now, for the sake of it, because we've done 30, we've got a beginning, middle, and an end. I'm going to quickly throw it in my Excel document so I remember. And I'm going to give us on-screen reading. You can check this out on IMDb, link in the description. Do you want the bottom 10 or the top 10 first?
Bottom 10.
Yeah, do
Bottom 10.
Yeah, so
the worst movies of all time. Treasure Planet at number 10.
Oh, no. Wait, so is that the worst one, or is that
No,
going
that's
down?
at number 10.
That's the 10th worst.
So yeah.
Right,
so
okay.
when I say number 1, I'm actually technically meaning number 30 here.
Right, okay.
Okay. By the way, because we've not picked too many bad movies, this bottom 10 is it's quite a trip. So yeah, Treasure Planet. And number 9, I Am Legend.
Oh.
Shame.
Rip.
Number 8, Shin Godzilla. Number 7, Spider-Man.
Ugh.
Oh, what? Oof.
Number 6, Castle in the Sky. Number 5, Vertigo.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Yeah. Hitchcock, the 5th worst. Hitchcock's masterpiece, the
You
5th worst movie of all
bitches.
time.
First episode.
See, I feel like our scale has changed quite a lot since
Yeah.
then as well, you know?
Yeah.
Still hate
Number
you.
number 4. Wait, no, I've gone wrong somewhere. Oh shit! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And including number 30, including number 20, I've actually gone wrong. So technically, Treasure Planet isn't on the list. It's not in the worst
Yes.
ones. Technically,
Oh, nice.
I've gone wrong. So yeah. So okay. Number 6 would have been Vertigo. Number 5, Free Fire. Sorry, Ben Wheatley. Number 4, Batman Forever. See, now we're
Alright,
actually kind of
alright.
getting into the, you know. Number 3, Bad Boys. Number 2, Digimon the movie. And number 1,
Of course.
the worst movie of all time, Star Wars The Holiday Special.
That's fine.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Full circle.
So, top 10. This is annoying because it means I can't include number 10. Wait, yeah, it does. How have I done this math so wrong? Let me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 20 to. How does that work? Jacob, you're good at maths, right?
Uh-oh.
How is 20 to 30 11 movies, but 10 to 1 is 10 movies? It's because there's no zero. It's because there's no zero. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you. I was an idiot. Number 10, Monsters Inc. Number 9, 21 Jump Street. Number 8, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Number 7, La La Land. Number 6, Baby Driver. Number 5, Spirited Away. Sure you're thrilled about that, Jacob. Number 4, Die Hard. I'm sure you actually are thrilled about that.
Yep.
Number 3, Shaun of the Dead. Number 2, The Empire Strikes Back. And the greatest movie of all time, Back to the Future.
Nice.
It was on yesterday as well. Again.
You've got to do something during lockdown, can't you? Just show Back to the Future again, you know? People are going to be in.
Time.
So, that brings us to the most important part of the show, and that's finding out what we're going to be watching next week. Joe, let us know.
So, this film, I had a bunch of different films set up, right? But I was on Amazon Prime the other day, and I was trying, it was 4 in the morning, and I was like, right, I'm not going to go to sleep, so I may as well watch a film. And I was scouring Amazon Prime to find something interesting, and I came across, I was like, right, I fancy watching a heist film, so I was like, okay, I'll watch a heist film. So, I was going to do your generic heist films. I was going to watch some of that Heat, maybe. Nah, I didn't fancy Heat. Ocean's 11? Nah. But then I came across this film, right? And I was like, okay. I've never heard of this film. Came out in 2018. I've never heard anyone talk about it. I had never heard anyone ever even mention it. And I watched it, just out of curiosity, and I was surprised how good it was. I was like, alright. And it's a film called American Animals. No. So
I've
this
maybe
film,
heard of that.
this film, I've checked, is going to be a first for us. 2 reasons. It's based on a true story, and it's a documentary. But it's not a documentary at the same time.
It's like a drama. What do they call it?
Yeah.
Evan Peters is in it.
A docudrama.
It is, yeah. It's also the guy from Dunkirk is in it as well. And
Yeah, he is.
it's made by the guy who... Do you guys ever remember that TV show called Banged Up Abroad? Where it had the people talking about what happened when they got arrested on holiday. And then there was like a dramatic recreation of it. No. Well, essentially that's what the film is. So it's about a bunch of guys who go and did this robbery and stuff, and it's a documentary because it has the real people telling the story, but at the same time, it's not fully a documentary. We'll watch it and talk about it. I enjoyed it.
Exciting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
was very surprised by how much I enjoyed it and how actually tense it is. I was sweating during this film, full on. But there you go, American Animals.
Exciting. It's got some really cool posters as well, because I literally just had to Google it to try and visualize it. Oh man, cool. I always like tackling something brand new. So, thank you very much for watching this episode on La La Land. Let us know what you think of this episode and the movie in the comments down below. Feel free to tell me how much you hate me, presumably, because this is, I think, one of the starkest differences in opinion from like one person to the other three that we've seen in this entire show. So I can only imagine that I'm like the 1% that doesn't like this movie. Follow us on social media by searching for The Real Outtakes on Twitter and Instagram. And make sure to listen to us on all your favourite podcasting apps by searching for The Outtakes Movie Podcast. And if you have been listening to us, maybe check us out on the YouTube for searching for the exact same. Yeah. And now is traditionally the point where I completely fall apart. Yeah. Good. Nice. We'll see you around.